So hello, how are you? And we'll actually pause for a moment and check in. So let's close the eyes for a moment. Feel the sit bones root. And how are we? You can ask, how am I? That's a very fascinating question. How am I? Because it paves the way for all kinds of response. And what we're looking for when we're practicing is the actual physical response. What does it feel like to be inside us this morning? As an experience rather than as a story. And so we might look for strong sensation, any sensation, noticing what the breath is like, whether it's long and easy or a little choppy. We might notice the temperature of the body this morning. And just kind of take in the whole thing, what's happening. So especially if there's anywhere in the body that is feeling extra tension or you're protecting, kind of just hold it like it's in a nest. Just be gentle as we move today. So you can open the eyes. We're going to work a little bit on the feet. So I've been working with my feet and becoming aware that there are ways in which I need to remember how to utilize the feet in the standing poses, particularly. And so if you will you take your hand, your fingers, and just slide them on either side of the toes. You may have to help the fingers in there and see if you can then, like toe separation, separate the toes with your fingers. You can see how far in you can get them. Some toes are much more cooperative than others. And then your thumb is probably free and you can just massage the arch. So the arch, when we're standing, we do want to have this hollow here. Some of us have very flat feet. Some of us have quite a high arch. But we do want that arch, and it almost feels as though we're suctioning up from the floor without losing the rest of the contact with the foot. And you've probably heard that sometimes we'll say the 3 corners of the feet and sometimes we'll say the four corners of the feet. We're really interested this morning in the ball and the pinky toe side and the inside heel and the outside heel. And I'd like you to think of, while you're massaging your feet, that there's kind of an X pattern here from the ball to the outer heel and from the outside pinky to the inner heel. And you might stretch the toes, just make contact with the feet. Maybe even into the inner ankles. We can spend the entire time right here. Okay, good. I hope that felt good. So let's switch sides. Fingers in through toes. Then separate the toes wide with the fingers. And thumb tip could come to the arch. Healthy feet over time, we really would like there to be this spread of the toes. Some of us may have a big toe that has begun to shift over toward the second toe, and this is where toe separators can be really helpful. Feeling into the arch. When you massage the arch, sometimes you can feel it into other areas of your body. You could then unwind that and little massage. Also around the talus, the ankle bone. Okay. Wonderful. So let's come on to the back for a moment. The last couple weeks we've been working on not using the arms all that much. We will use the arms today, but sparingly. Let's bring the right leg up and take hold of your right thigh, just almost like you're turning a peanut butter jar, trying to open it. Just externally rotate the right thigh. And feel what it's like. You can have your hands close to the knee and then slowly make your way down toward the hip crease. And release right leg. And same thing, left leg comes up. We externally rotate it on our own. And then with the hands, let's see, do we get any more movement in there? Just external rotation of left leg. Great. All right, releasing. And let's come into happy baby. Slowly, you could also take your arms around your knees, letting the legs soften downward, the shoulders soften downward too. And you see how this shape is much like an open basket, or a cup, or vase, or bowl. But the idea is that there's a sense of openness. And then let's cross the ankles and draw the navel to the spine and roll just a couple of times, massaging the spine. Inhale back, exhale forward. One more. Exhale forward, and then place the hands on the ground and lift your hips up. Press into the hands, lift the hips up, and walk your legs back onto hands and knees. Now let's tuck the left toes under, send the left leg back, push into the Achilles tendon, feeling the fascia opening on left foot. Navel draws to spine. Now, if you were with me last week, you remember that I talked about the coccyx and the pubic bone a lot. And we're going to continue that discussion today, integrating the feet into the plan as well. Bring left knee down, right toes turn back. When you extend through your heel, do you notice the tip of your tailbone could extend down toward the inner right heel also? So it'd be easy to have I'm going to demonstrate this here, the belly draws down and the tailbone is up and you're pushing back. But for our purposes, let's pull the ribs in, draw the tailbone down toward the heel. And notice maybe that there's a better sense of connection to the leg. Good. Release, right knee to floor. Tuck toes under, lift hips up, and stack the heels right over the balls of the feet. So keep the knees so bent that the belly sits on the thighs. Is that possible? And as if we are lengthening the toes, we're making our toes longer. Good. Then go ahead, walk it out, feeling into the back of the legs as you go. Good. Go slow and quite deliberately from left to right. And noticing when your heel touches down, does it touch down inadvertently into the outer edge of the left heel or the inner edge of the left heel, or right down the middle? What does yours do? In fact, when you go to touch down with the heel, does the arch drop, or do you still have an arch? And they may not be the same. Left and right may not be the same at all. Go ahead now. Try to bring your heels to the ground, toward the ground. It's okay if they're not on the ground. And then try to take all of the toes off the ground. Is that possible? And spread them. Spread the toes as wide as they'll go. And then draw the ribs up into the spine. And think about the tip of the tailbone drawing downward toward the heels. We all inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. And one more. Good. We inhale. Exhale. Knees bend. Look past the hands and step forward however many steps it takes to the top of the mat. Inhale. We lengthen the spine. Exhale. Fold forward. Let the head and neck release. Again, hands to shins maybe. Inhale. Lengthen. Draw out through the top of the head. Lift the kneecaps. Exhale. Fold forward. And one more. Inhaling. Exhale, fold. Now separate your feet hip width apart. Grasp the elbows. Relaxing, folding, relaxing. Let the head rest, the neck rest. Feel the breath move into the upper back. And notice your feet. You've got a good view of your feet. So when you let go of your elbows, you take your fingertips to your arches and just brush the inner arch upward. It's like a little wake-up call for the inner arch. Feel the balls of the feet pressing downward, big toe side, pinky toe side, corner pressing, inner heel pressing, outer heel pressing. It's pretty even. Now bend the knees and curl your tailbone in and slowly rise up. Gradually making your way to the top of the mat, we come to mountain pose. In mountain pose, let's separate the toes wide apart. See if you can separate the toes wide apart without separating the fingertips. Stretching the toes wide. Some toes are more cooperative than others. And then can you place the big toes down and leave the rest of them up? And the answer may be no. I swear every day it's different for me over here. Good. Big toes press. All the other toes are off. Good. Then bring them all back up again. Separate them wide. And then pinky toe side down. What happens then? Just the pinky toe side. Yep. How was that? Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Good. Then big toe side down again. Ooh. And can just the pinky and the big toes go down? Just big toes and pinky toes. You can see that this is not going well. Nevertheless, we give it our best shot. All right, relax them all down wide. Palms join at the heart. Feel your feet root. Let's not lock out at the knees. Let the tailbone drop. If you're newer to my classes, it can be really weird to talk about the pubic bone and the tailbone. But let's just let that go, that weirdness, because those two are tipping points for us. And there's so much to learn there in terms of how we move. And then lengthen up through the side body. Let the shoulders soften downward. We'll reach up through the top of the neck. We'll open with a chant. The Gayatri mantra. Join me if you wish from where you are. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonat Prachodayat. Om. Releasing the arms. Okay, so noticing where we're standing and how we're standing and what we're standing for. We take the arms all the way up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank pose, pause in plank, push back through your heels, and then draw the rib cage up toward the spine. And hands are right under the shoulders, and we separate the space between the shoulder blades. There will come a point where you will get a little tired, in which case draw the knees to the floor. But see if you can think like a seahorse, the seahorse's tail. And it's not so much muscular, but you've got this sense that the coccyx is almost turning within itself. You know, how it circles and circles and circles. Okay, now, knees down, torso down, point your toes back, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, lower. Now take your hands off the ground, inhale, lift the chest, point your toes, keep the front of the feet on the floor, exhale, slowly lower, and then take the arms back behind you, palms face up, inhale, lift the chest. Couple breaths here, root the legs, and then slowly lower, and hollow out your lower navel. Tuck your toes under, shift your hips back over your heels. Pause here, take your hands to the ground, push into the floor so that, again, waking up the feet. So move your weight into the balls of your feet, and then over to the pinky toe side of the feet so that the heels splay out a little bit. And then back over into the balls of the feet. Good. Our base of support. So strong base of support. Pliable base of support. Coming into downward dog now. Setting ourselves up, we may have the knees bent, long spine, lower ribs draw in. Good. Outer upper arm bones roll out and down, like we're trying to hug the shoulder blades around toward the front chest. We inhale, exhale, bend the knees, look past the hands, step or float forward between the hands. Inhale, lengthening, pull the top of the head forward. Lift the kneecaps, exhale, fold forward. Then push the ground away, inhale, rise all the way up. Send the arms beside the ears and come up onto the balls of the feet, pressing into the toe mounds and extending upward and watching here, watching with our awareness. What happens physically when we're up on the balls of the feet? Can we feel tethered and connected to the ground? Feeling into sensation. Good. Hug midline. Inhale. Exhale. Heels slowly land. Good. Draw the arms back down beside you. Inhale. Send the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step back. Take one breath this time. Push back through your heels. Round the upper back. Inhale. Exhale, knees and torso down or lower through, if you know, the chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. And exhale back over the toes. All right, so do me a favor, come forward to plank. First, we'll check our length from plank to downward dog. Move back to downward dog without moving your feet, and you'll feel like you're too long, likely. But let's get used to that feeling. Come forward to plank, and then back to downward dog. And one more time, inhale, forward to plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, pulling back. Okay, so far so good. So I'm going to create an invitation here. The question is, what happens if we roll onto the front of the feet, right over the toes here? Some of us, that's like, it doesn't feel good. With a little practice, it becomes quite doable for most. And then lift the hips up, come over the toes again to downward dog. And then up onto the toes and forward over the toes. And back over the toes. Okay, one more time. Forward. And right back up. And you may have needed to take 1 foot at a time there. And that's how we all begin. We inhale here. Exhale, knees bend, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, releasing, letting it go. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch at the top. Exhale, releasing the arms. Good, back to mountain pose. Just take a look at the feet. Widen the spaces between the toes. Lifting the arches, feeling the four corners press. If you lock out the knees, let's not do that. It's just, these are like foundational aspects of the practice that need to be revisited over time, because sometimes we're moving so quickly we forget these things. So we bend the knees now, extend the arms up, sitting deeply back. This is another posture that's nice to think about, the seahorse tail. As we sit down deeper and deeper, looking forward, steadying your gaze, and perhaps coming up onto the balls of the feet. And watching the breath. Hugging midline. Heels land, inhale, rise back up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Take the hands to the shins or the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back. Either meet in downward dog or lower through the vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog. Now go ahead, take the weight into your left foot and extend your right leg up and back. Inhale. Exhale, draw thigh to rib cage. Land your right foot or drag the foot forward. Pivot your left heel to the ground. Gradually rise up. Good, you've got about a leg's worth of space between the front foot and the back foot. And we've got heel-heel alignment or heel arch alignment, depending on how you feel. Check your pelvis, square off. Right knee, though, it tracks right over your foot. So you've got one long line here. Inhale, extend the arms. Exhale, reaching forward, out and down. This back thigh spirals in a little bit. The right hand comes naturally to the foot or to the ankle. Now, will you press into the ball of your right foot and the heel back corner, the outer back corner. So ball of foot and outer back corner. And then see if you can translate when you press. Can you feel that all the way up the leg into the hip crease? That's what we're curious about. And the answer could be yes, and the answer could be no. Do you feel it into the hip crease? If not, try pinky toe corner and inner heel. Try to contact pinky toe corner, inner heel, and then extend up the leg. Okay, good. And then extending the left arm, looking upward or downward toward the floor. From here, we bend the right knee. Now keep the right big toe rooted. Take your right hand either to a block or to the floor. Pinky toe side, foot out in front. Lift left leg up. And let the right foot settle and root into the ground. Left arm could be along the left side, so you can feel where your left leg is in space. And we're even through the four corners of the right foot, pressing through the four corners of the left foot all the while. Draw lower navel to spine. Maybe the left arm extends upward, reaching upward. Taking a few breaths. Moving the breath into the outer reaches of the body. And then gradually lower the left foot to the floor a little further back than when we came in. Land the sole of the foot. Move the right heel to the right just a little bit. And then with that seahorse tail, we're going to roll up, but we're going to do it by sort of curling up from the coccyx. From the coccyx. This can help for those of us who have lower back issues, like in lumbar, to move from a different place, a little bit lower and a little more grounded. Take your hands to your hips. Now shift your weight into the ball of your right foot, pressing. Ball of the right foot, outer right heel, and then see, well, with that press, can you draw the right sit bone toward the left sit bone? And then go back to your back foot. Can you feel the outer edge of the left heel make contact? Go ahead, send the arms upward. Yeah, this is, for some of us, including myself, if I'm honest, I love to move from place to place. This is harder work. If you're very rooted and grounded, good, that's a good thing. But if you're a flowy person, it's so important to pause and see what the heck's happening down there. Now, slowly take palms to prayer position. Fold forward, and as you fold, move your coccyx toward your pubic bone. And that becomes really important as we begin to try to turn the body to the right without using the arms to get there. So yes, we've got arms, but we are not going to hook the elbow around the thigh. We're going to press into the ball of the right foot so much that that draws the right sit bone back behind us a little bit. We haven't lost the left leg. And then we deepen in, come a little deeper. That may be it. Good. Take the hands to the ground, right leg back, meet in downward dog, or lower through, knees or torso down. And we all return. Yeah, rooting, grounding. Rooting, grounding. If we come to my classes pretty regularly, we know that there's a lot of work I do around using rooting and grounding to become present to the moment. As many of us, humanity at large, is in a bunch of different places at one time. So bringing our whole selves to just this. We send the left leg up. Inhale. Exhale, thigh to rib cage. Land the foot or drag it. Right heel down. Slowly we rise. Check your stance. It's about a leg's worth apart. Hug the muscles. Set the pelvis. It is flush, so you can hold water. It's a bowl. We take the arms out, press into the ball of the left foot and the outer edge of the left foot. Don't lose the ball as you reach forward, touch down. Then go back to your right foot, press into outer edge of right foot and ball of left foot, and see if you can get the ball of the left foot and the outer edge of the left foot to draw in and up such that you feel it all the way up into the inner groin. And then switch that so it's now pinky toe side and inner heel side. pulling upward, like you're suctioning the floor. Notice if that gives you a little bit deeper connection to the top of the leg. And then turn the rib cage, roll it open. Arm might go up, head might go up, but if it bothers the neck, look down. Then looking down, pinky toe side, the left hand comes, right leg flies, right arm on the leg, now you know where it is. Push through the heels, let the left ball of your foot, the big toe mound ball of foot, rest downward, rest and root. And right arm might go up, drawing the rib cage in toward the spine. So you stay very tubular here. Looking up or not. Good. Extend up out of the right shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, slowly, slowly returning to the floor. Take the foot back behind you a little bit and gradually rise. So from here now, we sink in, feel right heel, draw downward, and turn the hips so they're forward. Okay, so from here, when we do that, it's really easy to just go into the hips and do the turn. Go back to the ball of your left foot, press into the ball to help make that turn. Ball of the foot, outer edge. Good. Then back into the outer right heel. Palms in prayer position. Navel to spine. Fold forward. And then ball of left foot. Outer edge of right heel. Pull the mat together with your feet. Sinking, turning. Can you connect the ball of the left foot to the outer left hip? And pull to rotate around. We don't care about what it looks like. We just want to feel the mechanics of it. Drawing in. There's some work here. Okay, hands to the ground. Left leg back. Pause in plank. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the floor. Whole body down. Rest on a cheek. Feel the breath. Just watch inside the body. And see if you can follow the path of each breath. We all know that we will check out at times and end up spinning stories for long periods of time without even being aware that it's happening. So we just practice watching and feeling. Hands under the shoulders. Draw your hips back. And have the hips now over the heels, and again, a little bit of a push into the ground. Opening the soles of the feet. Now, if you look through your legs, you may find that your feet splay out a little bit. Let's keep them parallel with each other. And then slowly rise up. And you might walk forward just a little bit. Now, with the feet parallel, we're going to gradually draw the hips over the heels. We might come up, or we might have hands on a block or on the floor, because this can be quite something. You could check back there to see what's happening. The feet are parallel. And then we just sink in. Sink in, let gravity take its course. This can be brutal for some of us. Feeling into what's here. Now, did you notice that for some of us, the pubic bone is going to move back toward the heels? If the coccyx moves toward the pubic bone, you notice how that makes you a little bit more upright? If this is really painful on the feet, I'll bet that some of us are out like this. See about this a little bit. Okay, then release, come down, and place the front of the feet on the ground and sit back on the heels or on a block. Some of you may want to have the sit bones on a block. All right, so this is a Vajra breath practice that I learned in 2007 in South India, I believe. We take the fists, we place lower belly. We inhale, lengthen front spine. Exhale through the mouth, rounding. You can feel how it pushes, the fist pushed into the intestines a little bit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And again, inhaling. Exhale. All the way out. And inhale all the way top chest. Exhale completely out. Slowly we rise back up. Take the hands to the thighs. Rest the palms on the thighs. Close the eyes for a moment and feel that connection again between pubic bone and coccyx. If the pubic bone moves toward the coccyx, we end up in a little back arch. And if the coccyx moves toward the tailbone, we end up in a little bit of a round. Can you feel that? So just go back and forth here a few times. And we all have a place where we inadvertently rest when we're standing. Some of us it's this, some of us it's this. And whatever it is, once we know what it is, then we work to balance it. So when we're in mountain pose, if we're like this, then we can just make that adjustment so that we've got a clear plumb line. All right, so we'll take the legs now out to the side. Send the left leg long. And like we did lying back, we draw the right knee into the chest and turn the right leg out to the side. We'll do this a couple times, back and forth, without using the arms. Feel both sit bones root and then back out. Coming back up and in. Set the foot along the inner thigh. If it bothers the knee, then block the knee. Now, please root into your right sit bone. As you turn toward left pinky toe, keep the right sit bone rooted, the left foot flexed, the toes wide, and slowly fold toward your left pinky toe side. Really press into your right sit bone now, a lot. And see if that outer edge of the right hip can draw toward the floor to help create the force needed to extend. You may be up here, no worries. Keep the spine long, lengthen through the back of the head. And then from your coccyx, curl the coccyx toward the pubic bone as you come up. So I will assert that a lot of folks, when they come up with their lower back. So see if you can go lower than that. Coccyx pulls you up. It's a whole different place. It's a different orientation. Right leg long, left knee in, turn it out. Come back, long. And just watch the mechanics of our own body, because we are creatures of habit. And it's nice to know what our habits are. Sometimes it can be difficult to tell the truth to ourselves about what our habits are. Mostly off the mat. Now take the left knee out. Good. Foot lands right up against inner thigh. Now root left sit bone. Turn toward right pinky toe. Keep this dropping. Left sit bone. Outer edge of left hip dropping. Fold in. Draw rib cage in. Lengthen. Good. Then feel this right foot is flexed. The toes are as wide as they're willing to go. And imagine pushing your right foot into a wall And notice that with that imagination, pushing the right foot into the wall, you can even get back into your outer right hip potentially, and the right sit bones. Then hands can just come resting on the floor. Good. Go right back into your left sit bone, pressing. Then coccyx moves toward pubic bone to rise up. I hope you felt that. Please write me to let me know that you felt that. Slowly come up. Okay, now we bring the feet together. And we did this briefly last week. With the heels touching, we take the arms underneath the body. The legs can be out in a diamond shape. And here, I want us to feel coccyx moves toward pubic bone. And you see how that makes you kind of into a tortoise character, rounding. And then pubic bone moves toward coccyx. And you see now how there's this natural length that happens through the front body. And then rounding again. And some of us may find that we've got a hip that isn't as mobile as the other hip when we do this. We just go back and forth here. Initiate from dragon tail or seahorse tail, and then open out, pubic bone back, lengthen front spine. And I would bet that one of these is easier for each one of us than the other. And then back. Okay, good. Then come right back up to center. And let's pause. Just sitting. Okay, let's notice how you feel. And then we'll bring the right leg in. Now we'll keep the foot flexed. And remember this business of rolling the thigh out? Well, it's rolling thigh and calf out. We're bringing the hands to the shin or to the heel, and we'll just roll side to side here a little, see what it's like. Little hip flossing. We can take the foot any amount over and then sink the right hip, right sit bone down, and then back. A couple more times. Okay, let the right leg soften downward. And then draw the shin up. Try to do it without the arms. Roll thigh open. Good, and then hand comes to foot. Draw shin in toward chest. Some of you might find that it's easier down here to do it. Some of you might find it's easier up here. But go to a place where you can feel some contraction. Let your sit bones root downward. Yep. And make it your own. So you can follow me, but your hip is totally different. So feel into where can you get a little bit of space. And you keep this foot flexed, which is to say you don't want to turn it out like that. You want to keep the foot in alignment because otherwise we'll affect the knee. Yeah, good. Okay. Now bring the soles of the feet together. And can the soles turn upward like a book, like you're opening the book? Try not to open the book with your hands today. We're just getting a little more awareness of our potential of the lower body. Just turning. It may be just a disaster, but who cares? Take the thumbs to the arches and then begin to open out. And then maybe we can send the sit bones back and begin to fold forward here. Keep the spine long. Press the legs into the ground. Now, remember the seahorse business? So seahorse this. Curling, curling, curling. And you can see that that doesn't take us as far, right? And then go ahead, go the other way. Pubic bone toward coccyx and then notice, whoa, now there's more activity along the front. But some of us who like to blast out might actually benefit from a bit of rounding down there. So we're going the middle way, which is to say not one extreme or the other, right down the middle for our bodies. Keeping sit bones rooted. Good. Press the feet in toward each other. Slowly rise up. Draw the legs in, and let's come up onto the balls of the feet and take your feet, your knees now wide. So look down at your feet. Maybe the heels can touch. Maybe not. Maybe the balls of the feet can come in toward each other. And we're going to stack the pelvis on top of the heels. But we need to create a bit of buoyancy here. So this may be too much for the knees. And if that's the case, take a squat. Gradually drawing the hips down. Rooting the heels down. If the heels aren't on the ground, push down. If you're here, knees wide, get buoyant, lengthen through spine, establish a steady gaze. Rib cage in. Interesting balance between rooting and being buoyant. And then slowly coming back down. All right. Good. So let's come all the way onto the back for a moment. We are headed to a place, no doubt about it. Feel into your feet. You probably can feel your feet a little bit more than usual. Take happy baby again, please. And spread the breath across the upper back. Then release the left leg long and keep hold of the outer right foot. Place your left hand on your hip. Imagine you've got a wall at the sole of your left foot, so you're pressing out through that wall. And then engage, extend right leg out to the side, navel to spine, belly or ribs draw in towards spine. And you may have a strap nearby around the ball of the foot. Extend the right leg out to the extent that you can. Let the back of the shoulders soften downward. And push through both heels quite a bit. Pushing through both heels. It's very easy to get into these postures and not really engage. Yeah, extending through the heels, then release back. Right leg long, let's pause. Notice the sensations that are here as a result of that work. And then left leg, half happy baby. Take the hand to the outside of the foot or to the big toe. Strap if necessary. Engage right leg. Push through the four corners of the right foot. And then begin to extend left leg out however much. You imagine pushing through the ball of your left foot, the outer edge of the left heel, and what does that do along the inner line of the left leg? Big external rotation of the legs. Right leg stays rooted. Good. Now extend through both heels a lot, just for a couple more breaths. And then release. Take left leg long. Just pause and feel this. And then gradually draw your head up, slowly rise up, come to a seat. So we're making our way into a seated position this morning. And the question is, it needs to be a comfortable seated position. So first we want to know, well, if we roll the right thigh and this calf, so when we extend the right leg out and this leg is straight, we could turn the toes out, but we want the knee to come with so that the feet and the knee and the hip are all together. This part's really important. And we want to see, well, can we place right foot on left thigh? This external rotation makes the sole of the foot turn upward. That is what happens in the process, and we really want that. And then if you seahorse the coccyx again, so try it seahorsing the coccyx. It's actually easier to get in that way. And then we come back out, and same deal, turn left leg, open the can of peanut butter all the way out. Good, keep that big external rotation. See if you can bring the foot on top. Good, the sole turns up because you've got this external. Excellent. Now we'll try it one more time. So rounding at the coccyx, big round, see if it's easier to get in. This is important to remember. Some of us get in like this with this big arch. Try it with the arch. It's doable, but it's not as easy. So round, 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 then in. Some of us now, we turn the bottom leg. See if this foot, can we keep this external rotation? Slide the foot over, soles turn up, come back out. That may not have worked. Try on the other side, rolling coccyx, place, external, place, or slide foot in underneath. That's where we may be right now. So in any case, take comfortable seat or Padmasana. Turn your whole torso to the right and fold forward over the leg in a comfortable seat or in lotus. Stretch your awareness back into your left sit bone. Then come back up. Either Padmasana, turn, root back into your right sit bone, fold forward. Try not to use the arms too much. Keep the connection of the sit bone drawing down. Or in the half lotus. Slowly we rise. Okay, so if we're in the half lotus, that means one foot is down, and we can use that to our advantage right now. We're going to draw the pubic bone and the coccyx toward each other. Imagine that were the case. So the whole pelvic floor lifts when we place the hands on the ground, and we lift, suction cup up the hips, and you can use the foot, press the foot into the floor, lifting up, straight arms, and then slowly back down. And for you guys in half lotus, let's try it on the other side. The foot comes down, the right foot's now down, suction cup up. Couple breaths here, lift the pelvic floor. And come back down. If you're in Padmasana, both legs, hands to the floor, lift the pelvis, squeeze to midline, lifting, lifting, lifting. And release. Good. Let's unwind that, slowly coming down. Take your legs long and curl coccyx toward pubic bone. Keep the curl. That helps with coming down a lot. Slowly release all the way onto the back. And pause and feel. So one more asana. Let's take the back bend of your choice. So it could be bridge, feet in, lifting up. Slide the arms in underneath. Press upper arm bones. Interlace fingers. Strong back body. So this is so interesting. Just in and of itself, bridge, you can move the coccyx toward the pubic bone. You can move the pubic bone toward the coccyx, and you check for yourself, where do you go habitually? And where is the middle? Where's the middle way? Same could be looked at in wheel, hands under the shoulders, rise up, push, even out, and then check that coccyx to pubic bone. You can see that with pubic bone dropping and glutes softening, you don't have much connection to the lower body. But if it's too much and you've got this seahorse tail wrapping toward pubic bone, find the middle. Find the middle. And slowly coming back down. Soles of the feet together, knees go wide. Pause and feel. Let the cheeks widen away from each other. And just feel as the body begins to open and soften outward. We all have these deep habits, you know, habits of thought and emotion. Many of us are quite aware of them, more so now than ever, with all the extra external challenge. Take the legs long, extending, releasing the body back, lying back, relaxing the body completely, but being aware. Aware in the body and awake. The kind of habits that we have are very much the same because we're human beings. It's been written about a long, long time ago that there are 3 fundamental habits. The habit of grasping, attachment, of wanting. And if I ask you, what do you want right now? Is there anything you want right now? Just allow what comes up to come up. What do you want right now? And so I bet you've generated a little list for yourself. And then another habit that we have is aversion. Sometimes, you know, it's I don't want, isn't it? Move away from. And so we could ask ourselves, if there was one thing in our life right now that we don't want, what is it? That we could remove from our life, what would it be? And then let that go. So we have the wanting and we have the don't wanting. And then there's a third quality, and that is sometimes called confusion or ignorance. It's when we're lost in thought, like sleepwalking. Not completely present. Lost in a story. It happens all the time. Then we'll wake up and go, oh wow, where was I? I drove 2 miles and I don't even remember seeing what was there. In our practice, well, imagine this. Imagine taking away the I, me, I. So when we're in a state of confusion, we're telling stories. Usually they're all about me, and I. If we remove the I, even for these couple of moments, then what does that leave with us? That leaves us with direct experience of sensation, how it comes and goes, and sound inside and outside the body. And the breath. Direct experience. How long can we hang out in direct experience before the story maker begins weaving the stories again? And then when we find ourselves in one of those habits of grasping, or pushing away, can we notice the tendency before we automatically go down that road? Notice. These practices are at the root of shifting addictive tendencies. Now I want to read you a little poem. It's called A Simple Prayer for Remembering. Remembering and meditation are connected. Remembering the Motherlode. And it's by Clarissa, Pinkola, Estes. You probably know her. We do not become healers. We came as healers. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become storytellers. We came as carriers of the stories we and our ancestors actually lived. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become artists. We came as artists. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become writers, dancers, musicians, helpers, peacemakers. We came as such. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not learn to love in this sense. We came as love. We are love. Some of us are still catching up to who we truly are. Forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair. And we gradually wake up the toes and fingers. I think a more contemporary way of saying that is my feet and hands are woke. We draw the knees into the chest, give ourselves a hug. This part's very important. be able to be tender with ourselves when we find those habits. Ah, yes, I'm back in the habit of wanting, wanting, wanting. It's okay. It's called being a human. Then we have a choice. Turning to the side, resting for a moment, and dedicating our practice to those who suffer. May those who suffer be happy and healthy and free. And may we find a way to be useful. We slowly come up to a seat. A comfortable seat. Closing the eyes and lengthening the spine. Feeling in to that coccyx pubic bone connection, residing in the middle way between extremes, feeling rooted, grounded in the present. Letting go of our hold on our positionality. Letting go a little bit on our hold of me, and I. And feeling into us. Drawing the palms together at the heart. Let's close with one Om. We inhale together and exhale. Inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. I should title these. I wonder what episode this is. This is like episode. Feels episodic. It's like episode 27 or something, 30. I appreciate that you're still here with me on Saturday morning. You know, I have a meditation series beginning, and it begins this Wednesday night, and it's called Cultivating Sustained Well-Being. It's purposely created for this time, right? It's meditations, all of which are evidence-based to help support sustained well-being. If you're interested or you know people that would benefit, please go to breathetogetheryoga.com and take a look at that program. I promise that it will be splendid. Okay? Bye-bye. Take care.